Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support the brand, it's inspiredbydreams.shop. That's the place to go. Okay, today's episode, we're talking about bare minimum parents. And in these times, I see a lot of it. I see a lot of parents, they're just taking on the parent role and feeling like once you have kids, like responsibility just slaps on your lap. No, you have to be a responsible person before you have the kids. So just doing the bare minimum of just having kids, I don't know if that's going to work in these times. Let's get it.
Mickey made it. Mickey made what you made, Mickey.
Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law.
When you're a single mom, somebody getting your kids every other weekend is a babysitter. That's not a dad. Okay. So Jonathan's dad, Janice's dad, they would all get them on the weekends. But that's not a dad, by far.
Now, please do understand, we're going to take them 4 days a month. But I need to dive a little deeper into what she's talking about. There is not a lot of instruction that you can give to a child and it be retained with only 4 days a month. Your influence is often forgotten when you go a full 2 weeks without being around that child. You are not involved in the day-to-day upbringing of that kid. You don't know the teacher's name. You don't know what the grades look like. That's how fathers are able to go without knowing their children's shoe sizes or clothing sizes or what type of TV shows they like. Because you are only doing 4 days a month and you're missing 28 days. That is not being a father. That is doing the bare minimum. And it is a lot of men that will do the bare minimum time and also provide bare minimum financial support and feel like they are great dads. When at the end of the day, 28 days to 4 days is really like 87%, 90% of the physical care for the children. And when you are only paying $400 a month, when the after school care is $200, the karate is $129, the clothes that we're having to replace every other week because they running through the knees and the toes of the shoes, or they outgrowing, you are doing the bare minimum. And I'm sorry, but that is not being an active, present, involved dad.
They decide to have children, not because they love children. They do not.
I'm a little sweaty because I just left the gym, but I could not wait to get off the treadmill or get out the gym so I can make a stitch to this video. Like, Chad hit the nail on the head. So many kids was born just to be meal tickets. And it's crazy. Especially, like, because you would meet so many young men in your life, and they'd be like, their only plans, they'd be a high school, play ball through high school, hopefully get a scholarship, go to college, find the easiest major they can, skate through college, and hopefully play pro ball. And it never happens. It never does. And then the cycle continues and it repeats. Like, I'm so glad that my parents or my entire family was more so of a, if your grade's not right, you don't play. And hell, I was a swimmer though too, so it really was what it was. I didn't plan to do nothing with swimming post high school. But I'm so glad that other people can see that a lot of people was born to be meal tickets, and it's so sad. It's really so sad because them kids and those little boys, they literally feel like they have no other option. Their only option is to go play pro ball or something like that, and that be it. Like, no actual investment in their education, no actual work on themselves to be marketable in the industry, because in any industry, because their parents have never even looked at them and said, "Oh, I can see this type of success for you." They've only seen them as a meal ticket and a way for them to get out the hood, like a quick little money, a little get rich quick scheme. Like, you created a whole baby, a whole child, a whole human being just for a get rich quick scheme. And just like Chad said, you failed as an adult when they're in a capitalist system, and you couldn't figure out no other way to pull yourself up out of this hole, so you decided to put another kid in that hole just to continue the cycle.
Monique is the prime example of those parents that be like, I put a roof over your head, I put food on your table, so therefore I'm a good mother. I put clothes on your back, I made sure you ate every day. You mean you did the bare minimum so I wouldn't starve? You gave me a jacket so I wouldn't freeze to death? You gave me shelter because you had me and you had to shelter me? I ain't asked to be here. I don't know why parents feel like doing the bare minimum is all you need to do to be a parent. Like, I hope you gave me food to eat, because I would have called CPS. I would have had that number on speed dial. Monique, your son came to the internet begging for help, begging for his mom, and your response was to post text messages from 3 years ago. I don't know if you people are in 2024. And judging by the way he responds to the messages, you've been lost your son, gang. I literally just said this. Stop trying to prove that you're a good mother to the internet. We don't care. If anything, we're cutting your ass because clearly you're not a good mom. Go hug your son. I just said this. I said it twice. I'll say it again. Go hug your son. That's what your son needs right now. Your son needs his mom. Y'all need therapy. Because for the simple fact that I didn't even know you had children, bro, that says more than enough. That actually speaks volumes. Like, I literally did not know you had kids, gang. Are you that great of a mother that we didn't know? Your son had to come to the internet and was begging for help. That's what he was doing. He was begging for help. Parents need to know that it's more than just the bare minimum survival things that we need when raising a child. Y'all be putting us through so much mental traumas that it's not even funny. And especially the old school parents, they have so much pride, they never feel that they're wrong when it comes to anything. And I don't know what it is, but why do they feel like they don't need to apologize, or they can't apologize? Asking Gen X or a boomer to apologize to a younger generation is like telling a crackhead that they just need to stop taking crack. They're not going to do it. And if they do try to apologize, they would never straight up and be like, well, I was wrong, I'm sorry. They're going to want to cook you a dinner. But I'm just saying, go hug your son, Monique. That's all I'm saying. Just go hug your son. The internet is the worst place you want to take your family problems to, because we're going to eat it up. And we're just going to twist and turn it and into something it's probably not. And Monique, I already got beef with you because you was dead talking shit about skin girls. But the moment you start losing weight.
Generation, right? So I am 45. I'll be 46. I'm on the cusp of being considered an old millennial or a young Generation X or a Gen X, right? And older Gen Xers and then the boomers have this idea of hating the idea of the participation award. Just getting an award for just showing up, right? If you are on the swim team and you come to the practices and then the meet, you feel as though those children who just showed up for practice and just showed up for the meets, they didn't win anything, but just because they showed up, they shouldn't be entitled to an award if they didn't win something, if they didn't go the extra mile, if they didn't do the extra work, if they didn't do whatever is required to win, right? They shouldn't be given an award. They shouldn't be given a trophy. They shouldn't be acknowledged in any way for just showing up. And I find the idea of that, I'm not going to say how I feel about either one, whether you should get an award for just showing up or not. I'm not going to give my opinion on that because honestly, I don't even care either way. What I care more about is the hypocrisy of the older generation's idea of how you shouldn't be giving an award just for showing up, but they don't apply that to themselves, right? I feel like it is undeniable that the older generation had a different work ethic than the younger generation. They had to go and do serious hard labor at times, work hours and hours and hours and hours to earn what these younger generation of children, which I am fully in support of, can get on social media and make in an hour. So the work ethic is definitely different. We're not going to sit up here and say that their work ethic is different. Where I want to compare the two, this whole participation award idea to, is the parenting. The older generation feels like, if I gave birth to you, I brought you in this world, I can take you out. If I gave birth to you and I fed you and I put food on your table and clothes on your back, then I am immediately inherently due a certain level of something from the child because I did that. I did those things as a parent. But you did the bare minimum as a parent. Providing food for your children, to put food on their table and clothes on their back, is the law. If you don't do that, you're going to go to jail. You have to remember, Your children didn't ask to be here. You laid down and got pregnant and decided to have that child. You made those decisions. You made the decision to participate in activities that got that child here. It is your responsibility to either, one, provide them with more than just that bare minimum, or two, give them up for adoption so that another family can provide what you will not or cannot provide, right? Children, most children need more than just food on their table and clothes on their back. What about the nurturing? What about the being supportive? What about the speaking life and love into your children? What about the providing them with a safe environment, which means they're not seeing abuse, the physical and emotional type? I'm not judging nobody because I am far from a perfect parent. But I'm just saying, if your stance is, if you want an award for doing more than just showing up, you got to do the extra work, right? Providing just the bare minimum of food on the table and clothes on the back is the bare minimum. So then to turn around and say, my child is ungrateful. I provided a good home for them, and then now they turn their backs on me. They don't visit me. They don't this. They don't that. They've gone no contact. I've seen a lot of parents who have had their children go no contact on them, painted as, oh, I don't know why my child just doesn't talk to me anymore. As a child who's gone no contact with my parent, let me tell you something. No child chooses to not have their parent in their life for absolutely no reason. Every child wants nothing more than to have the approval and the love and the support of their parent. If your child is not speaking to you, it's probably because you were a pretty abusive, tough, or something kind of a parent. That being said, to say, I have this ungrateful child who won't do this or who won't do that. They want this, they want that. And I put food on their table every single day, and they always had clothes, even if they had the nicest of clothes. And they won't talk to me. That is the equivalent of you expecting to get some sort of participation award. You participated in the bare minimum of parenting. You didn't go the extra mile. So why do you want the same accolades and awards that a parent who love their child unconditionally? Hey, mom and dad, I need to talk to you. I'm gay. And then you turn your child away because they've shamed you or they've disappointed you, or versus the parent who, hey, mom and dad, I'm gay. I don't give a damn about that. I love you regardless. I'm here for you. When you come home, you safe here. When you go out into the world is already going to put a certain level of things on you because you are gay. So when you come home, the home you come home to is safe. That's the parent that should be asking for the award for Parent of the Year, not the parent who provided the bare minimum. You just showed up to the job that by law, if you didn't show up to, they would take your kids from you and then they would slap a child neglect charge on you. Again, I have no feelings either way about a child getting an award for doing the bare minimum, for just showing up to practice and just showing up to the games, versus a child who actually exceeded in the sport. I don't have any opinions on that. My husband is not demure when he comes home. It's not demure to come home blasting music that you can hear from 2 blocks away. It's not demure, and it's not cutesy. It's not approachable. Shit. Just hold on.
It's always the parents who don't do things consistently are the ones who want praise for any small thing that they do and brag about how much they do for their kids. I've noticed the people or the parents who actually are doing things for their kids, set them up for success, and did what it took to make sure that their kids had a solid foundation, are not looking for an applause. They just want their kids to be happy and successful.
Okay, I had an epiphany on Friday and it's kind of blowing my mind. So I've known the majority of my adult life that I have daddy issues, but I've never been able to sit there and say, like, this happened in my childhood, which correlates to me now as an adult, until the epiphany. So growing up, the ages of like 12 to 22, I didn't live with my dad. I moved out when I was 12 to go live with my mom, who lived an hour away from him. And my dad wasn't abusive in any way, but I would say he was mildly neglectful. At 12 years old, I just knew I wasn't a priority in my dad's life. And he would always show up for me just enough. Just enough. He would show up just enough to where I thought he was a good dad. He would show up just enough to where other people thought he was a good dad. If ever I had something going on, he was the first person I told because I wanted him there. No matter what it was, band competition, drama performance, I wanted him there. I wanted my dad. 50% of the time he wouldn't show up. The other 50% he would show up, but just enough. Meaning if it was a Friday night football game and I performed at halftime, he would show up right at halftime and leave 2 minutes into the third quarter, just enough time to say hi, goodbye. Sometimes he would show up to my stuff in Irish goodbye, and my coaches would find me like crying in a corner, and they had to console me because like, it's okay, he's really busy. And that's what I would constantly do my whole life, is excuse it. Well, he's like, he lives an hour away. Well, like, he's really busy. Well, he's just probably coaching. And it would make me so mad because my brother lived with my dad during his high school years. And my mom lived an hour from him. And my mom was at every single thing for my brother. She made sure to stay as much in my brother's life as possible, even with that hour distance. But for my dad, there was an entire school year I didn't go to his house because he had people living in his house I was not okay with. And he was totally fine not talking to me for that entire school year. The metaphor I've been using is if I was dehydrated in a desert, my dad would give me enough love and attention to keep me alive, but never to quench my thirst. He would give me just enough. Now, as an adult, when I'm dating, I accept the bare minimum. It's my friend's biggest complaint with me. They're like, why do you accept the bare minimum from these guys? Why do you do that? And I'm just like, no, like, you don't understand. Like, he works at a restaurant, so his hours are crazy. And, like, yeah, he had a free night the other night, but he wanted boys' nights, and I can't take that away from him. Like, I totally get it. And he was texting me all day, so it's fine that we haven't seen each other in a month and a half. Constantly making excuses for the men, giving me the bare minimum. And now, if someone gives me their full attention, they want me, and there's no games, there's no anything, I'm the one that pulls back because I'm not used to getting 100% of the love and attention. I'm used to having to make excuses and to fight for just enough.
You know you're dealing with a bad parent when all they do is bring up money when they talk about what they did for you. Like, yes, I had a roof over my head, but yes, I had food in my stomach and clothes on my back, but I was getting... Like, doing the bare necessities does not make you a full parent. You got to do the bare necessities, and you got to take care of your kids emotionally, spiritually. Like you got to be there as a whole human being that cares about the mental and physical well-being of your child. I feel like not a lot of parents get that, and then when your kids come back to you and tell you all the stuff that happened when they was kids and that you put them through and stuff like that, that all they can do is throw in your faces, well, you had a roof over your head, and you had this, and you had that. I feel like this happens so much in the black community. It's like we always in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? It's always just do everything to get by, not to thrive. We're surviving. We're not thriving. We're not trying to exceed. We just trying to get by. So really all we thinking of is the necessities, the food, the clothes, the water, the shelter. But it's so much more than that. And I'm not saying it's all black people. I'm saying this happens a lot of times with black people that I've seen in my family and just in life. And I feel like this whole survival mode way of thinking really came from slavery, because it's like they stripped us from everything that really can help our minds prosper during that time, at least. So it's like all we could really think about was surviving. We didn't have time to think about how to grow our minds and really like enrich ourselves to do the things that we need to thrive. So when we got out of slavery, it's kind of like we were just trying to pick up the pieces, and that affected a lot of our parenting skills. Because what's life if you only got the bare necessities? That's not a life. You just getting by. And I'm calling out black people because it's like I'm black and I don't know nobody else's experience and I want us to improve. But it's like we only focus on the bare necessities, the bare minimum, just to get by. And that's why so many parents or bad parents or so many kids just be coming out in all these different type of ways. Because you only focus on the bare minimum. You only focus on the bare necessities. We are not animals. We need so much more than the bare necessities to live and thrive as human beings.
Wow. Bare minimum parenting. In these times, I'm not surprised at anything going on, but what I could say is, for those who are going through these types of situations, sometimes you got to find yourself out of this, and you might have to grow up a little faster and learn things a little faster and understand things a little quicker. And that's going to make you who you are, to be that much more that you don't want to be like your parents, that raised you. If they're just giving you bare minimum, you don't want to live and learn through bare minimum anything. I think America is just being, it's right now we're in a bare minimum process where everybody's just doing what they could do because they don't feel compensated. So it's all the understanding, and sometimes people just don't even have it. So the dynamic between that and parenting, it kind of sucks at the same point, because at the end the kids always lose, and that's what carries on. You guys let me know in the comments down below how you feel on this one, and I'll talk to you guys and get back up with you guys on my morning show, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. And I also owe you guys an extra video. See you soon.